Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, FDI is very sensitive to the kind of uncertainty that exists today. I mean, FDI typically wants to feel safe, and that's the challenge. I mean, today, with the media reports that come out, with a very public situation of unrest, if you do a research and you feel that there may be risk associated with your investment, then you probably think twice before investing. So clearly that makes the EDB's job much more difficult because they have to really work hard to convince companies to invest. So the level of scrutiny has become much higher. The flip side to that, of course, is the costs have come down considerably. So the costs of setting up in Bahrain today are much cheaper than they were pre-crisis, simply because there was a lot of inflation. Probably Bahrain can provide a lot of value in terms of cost structure, but it still has to overcome this initial feeling of risk associated with Bahrain, which is a negative consequence of the crisis.
And this risk is largely psychological, the fundamental studies.
I think so. I mean, if you look at the situation, and we've been active for many years now, post the crisis now, almost 2 years. There's very little security risk. I mean, there's very little actual risk. There's issues that you may hear, delays because of the roads here or there, or protests here or there. But I don't think that there's major disruption to businesses, actual. So a lot of it is perception. A lot of it is a perception as a result of what's in the media, as a result of this kind of very broad discussion that sometimes takes place on the streets as opposed to in parliaments and where it should be taking place. So that kind of perception has negative consequences.
Would you be able to say how much of quantify economic consequences of the events?
I mean, I can't give you a percentage decline or anything like that. I mean, I don't have that kind of statistics. I can tell you that if you look at the GDP growth pre-crisis, you were talking close to 5% growth. Today, it's very, very stable. So you're talking about maybe 1 or 2% growth, which is very slow compared to where we were. So the economy has slowed, that's for sure. The real question is, in terms of consequences, how many businesses have decided that it's no longer worth continuing their operations? And that's a more permanent damage that happens if companies start to say, well, we've been here, but I think it's time for us to leave. And for me, that's more concerning. Thankfully, I don't think that that's happened en masse. I mean, you've had companies that maybe have taken the decision, but they were probably more based on the economics than they were on the political side of things. So you've got areas where growth is much stronger, like Dubai and Qatar, that for a lot of companies who only want to have one base in the Gulf maybe would consider those areas. So that's unfortunate that Bahrain has lost maybe that competitive advantage vis-a-vis the other countries.